I'm Jeanne. Obviously, I'm not in one of the Metropolitan Council's official vehicles, but today on Council Close-Ups, we're interviewing Dave Campbell. He's an Interceptor Services worker. Normally, he'd be at a lift station or down in the sewer doing his job, but when he's not working, he likes to golf. We're at the Lost Spur Golf Course in Eagan, just about a mile up the road from the Metropolitan Council's Regional Maintenance Facility. So why'd you choose a golf course for our interview?
Because if I have anything I could be doing, I would rather be golfing than doing anything else. So yeah, it's great. It's a beautiful day. I mean, what's not to like?
So what do you love about golf?
Probably the challenge. You can do really well one day and not so well the next. And you have to live with that, and you have to go back and work at it, and it's a constant thing. Nobody's ever going to get an 18 in golf, and so you're striving for something all the time to get better. So
talk about your job. What do you do from day to day?
Well, my typical day is to go out and visit pumping stations, lift stations.
What's a lift station?
A lift station is when we have gravity lines that can only go so far, then the lift station elevates the wastewater so that it can go into a higher pipe and follow gravity down again. Mm-hmm.
So you go out to the lift station?
Yeah, we go out and we check and make sure there's no alarms or issues with the pumps. Another part of what we do is to mark sewer pipe from Gopher 1 calls and stuff when people are digging. And then we also do routine maintenance on the meter sites when the wastewater travels from one community to the next. Mm-hmm. There's a meter at that border, and we check those.
Most of us, when we flush the toilet or use the dishwasher, we don't think about where that water is going.
Right.
But really, it goes down the drain, and it's a pretty complex system to get that water through the pipes, cleaned up, and into the river. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it is. It takes engineering to come up with how we put these pipes together, and then we have to know where we have to put these pumping stations to convey it from point A to point B. Then there's the whole wastewater treatment plant and all the process that goes along with that. So it really is a complex system.
How'd you get your start at the Met Council?
Well, I started as a summer temp in 85, 30 years ago. I graduated on a Friday and started working here on Monday morning.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to go into law enforcement, and I decided to pursue a job here instead, and I've been here since.
What do you love about your job, Dave?
Well, I like to know that I'm helping the environment, and we've got work that needs to be done on a daily basis, and we get it done, and the accomplishment is gratifying.
Are there any dangers in your job?
Yeah, there's a lot of dangers. Probably number one is atmosphere. It's something that we have to be concerned about when we go in somewhere of lack of oxygen or high levels of hydrogen sulfide or explosive levels. These are things that we always have a monitor to tell what the atmosphere is like. The atmosphere can also corrode the landings and the catwalks and the walkways and things that you're working on. You have to be careful about that. One of the reasons why we work 2 people at a time too is because of the safety aspect of it. You have to, everybody has a role, and to make sure that we're all safe, it's important that you have someone there to be there in case something bad happens. So.
Dave, you mentioned being an environmentalist is part of your job. Say more about that.
When I first started working here, I never would have thought about the idea that we use perfectly good drinking water today and put it in toilets. Now I think about that, and hopefully someday we'll come up with a way where we don't have to do that. The other thing I think of too is how we can take our wastewater, effluent water that goes in the river, and maybe somehow produce electricity. Those are things I never thought of 30 years ago, but I do now. So that tells me, yeah, I think I am somewhat of an environmentalist. So
You mentioned that you early on considered a career in law enforcement. Now looking back over 30 years, what might you tell your 18-year-old self about how it's turned out?
Well, I think it's turned out really well. I think the bottom line is you have to do what you're really, really passionate about, and don't go to work. You know, do what you're passionate about, and I don't think you can do that for 30 years if you're not.
Are there any typical jokes that people who work in the sewers like to tell?
Probably not things that should be repeated, but yes.
Dave, thank you so much for talking with us today. It's been really fun to get to know you better and learn more about the work that you and your colleagues do for the region.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about the Council, visit www.metrocouncil.org.